Hello, hello, hello. We are in day 4. Welcome. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for allowing me to have the time change today so I can go do some cooking later. So I'm kind of excited to try some new things. All right, let's talk about your homework. How many of you were able to start on your affirmations yesterday? I know you probably didn't get them all done, but were you able to start? Is there anywhere where you're stuck, where you're like, I don't know what to write. I don't know what I want to think about this. So if so, let's talk about that. We can certainly get that fixed. And I wanted to talk about the discussions we're having. I am loving the discussions. I'm loving the thoughts that you guys are having. The discussions I think are so important because so many women need you. You're in this group, you're willing to speak out, you're willing to share some of your thoughts, and we need to perpetuate that all over. So if there's something that you feel strongly about, go to the other group and feel free to drop it in there. It's obviously a larger group, which is how I expected it. But let's start those conversations there too. And it doesn't always have to be me. You guys can post in there and share thoughts and feelings. People need you. Women need you. And women need to know that they're not alone out there. Jill had asked yesterday, why are we our own worst critics? Why do we self-sabotage? Why are we so mean to ourselves? And I was thinking, is it because we're told as children, like, oh, if you have some success, like, don't show off. Like, if you're really good at something, don't show off. You don't want to be that kid. You can't be too excited for yourself. What is the deal with that? And we're told sometimes that success makes you look conceited. Now, growing up, I never lived with that, but my husband certainly did. Like, you were meant to stay small. People weren't supposed to know that you were good at something. And that's absolutely the most ridiculous thing like I've ever heard. And I get it. A lot of people grew up like that, but I want you to change those thought processes. And I want to start celebrating people. And I want you to be sincerely happy for people when they start having success too, because that opens you up to so much more success. All right. As you're going through the homework, you may not see yourself in everything. That's okay. It's okay. It's meant to make you think. It's what I don't want. Let me start there. I don't want you taking on other stuff because you feel like, oh, maybe I should feel like that. No, if you don't feel like something, you don't feel like something. Do not take it on. Look at that as a huge plus that, hey, I've already overcome this. Like, this is awesome. I don't think like that. So I want you to use it as a springboard to just make you think about the great things too, and where you can hone up and fix the things that you don't like as much. All right, today we're going to talk about building your Fantastic Five. First of all, you want to surround yourself with people that make you feel good. And so I'm going to give you the type of people that you need in your list. I call them the Fantastic Five. Something to know is you become like the 5 people you hang around, or your income is the average of the 5 people you hang around. And I was thinking, I hadn't heard about the income before, and I started really looking at that and realized that's true. So we want to be more mindful of who we hang around. And I'm not saying that you have to get away from everybody. Some of us may be married to those people. Some of us may have kids like that. Some of us may be our family members. I'm not saying you get away from them at all. What I want you to do is fill yourself and surround yourself by these other people, so it makes relationships with people that are a little harder easier for you, and they don't feel as heavy. With all that said, let's get started. So I'm going to ask you to take an inventory of your friends. I want you to write down the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Okay? Just jot them down. And I want you to think, and I want you to put a heart by them if they lift you up. Like, do you feel good? Like, after you've had coffee with them, do you feel good? When you've gotten off the phone with them, do you feel good? How do they make you feel? Okay, so hopefully in that group, you have some hearts there, people that lift you up. And if not, we're going to find you those people, and it'll be easier than you think. First of all, let's talk about the passive people that are influencing you. What are you watching on TV? What type of podcasts do you listen to? What kind of books do you read? What kind of music do you listen to? where are you getting your outside sources? And I hadn't really thought about that. But it is like, is it positive and uplifting, or is it bullcrap? Does it make you feel better, or does it make you feel worse? Where does that fit in with you? I'm a TV junkie. You guys know I've told you that. And I'm actually kind of proud of it. I don't really care. My favorite show, though, is Criminal Minds. I like shows about serial killers. Not exactly uplifting, right? But what I like about it is like the inner workings of your brain and what's going on in people's heads. That's what I find fascinating. So obviously I don't watch a lot of that, but I love social experiments. I love watching that, getting into people's head, watching how people react. I do know that that's all meant for TV and there's certain things, but I love digging deep inside people and pulling things out that I think, let's see how this show ends and if I'm right or if I'm wrong. So anyway, I'm total, off on the Jenny train there, but pay attention to what you're reading, what lifts you up, what makes you feel good, what gets you excited to do other things. People come into your life for a season, or they're in your life forever. And that's okay. That's how it's meant to be. Obviously, when my kids were little, I don't have the same friends now that I did then. It's not to say that I couldn't. It's just lives changed. My kids started in other activities. We started doing other things. And so therefore we changed friend groups, right? So I want you to think back though to the lessons of friends that you may no longer be hanging around. And I don't, some of them may just be, it was a toxic relationship. For me, when Spencer was a baby and I had a friend that I spent all my time with, our kids were small. We went to the same MOPS group and we just became fast friends. I wanted to help her. Her family really struggled. And I thought, gosh, I can really help her. I have the means to help her. I can do these things for her. And actually what I was doing was enabling her. So I enabled her for about 10 years. No, not quite that long. About 8. No, 10, 8. A long time. Because I wanted to give her that support that I didn't feel like she had from other people. And looking back now, I realize I probably did more damage. Not that I don't care about her and I don't want these things, but I probably did a lot more damage because I thought I was being a helpful friend, and I was to some extent, but I didn't help her maybe where she needed it the most. I have another friend who early on in my career taught me about boundaries. There was an instance where there was some trust and some issues that were broken, and I couldn't believe it happened at the time, but from the age of about 25, I learned to set boundaries pretty quickly. And so tomorrow we're going to have a masterclass on boundaries at 2:00. It is via Zoom, so I will post the link in this group again. But I'm super excited about it because there's reasons we set boundaries, there's reasons we don't, and there's reasons we need to keep them and honor them. So we're going to talk about that because I know boundaries are hard for people. So she taught me to set boundaries. And now, I have different friends for different reasons. And so just know it happens, right? And it's okay for it to happen. Let's talk about the 10 types of people that you need in your Fantastic Five. You can name your Fantastic Five whatever you would like to. Just think of something catchy. You don't have to name it at all. That's just what I named it. But you need one of each of these people in your circle for different reasons, and we're going to go over that. The first one is the believer. You need somebody in your circle of influence that believes in you 110%. They build you up. They know you. They pour into you. Whatever you do, they believe 110%. I'm not saying that they're necessarily going to be a customer of yours. I'm not saying that whatever you're doing, they may not be part of your business or part of that, but in your life, they believe in you 110%. For me, I have one friend. I've known her, let's see, Delaney's 23. So I've known her 20 years. We became really close friends at about that 15-year mark. She is the woman that will call me. She's got these weird superpowers. She'll call me when things are dark. Like we were going through some crap. My husband was going through some crap. And she would call me and be like, hey, I just got this feeling that I needed to call you. Are you okay? Is your family okay? What's going on? I've been praying for you. I lost it. How she knew what was going on, I'll never know. But 110% she believes in me. I don't care what it is, she believes. So you need one of those people. Find one. It could be me. Who knows, right? You need the pusher, the one that inspires you to be better, the one who pushes you by their example. They're the one that doesn't let you rest on your laurels. They want you to grow. They want you to succeed. So you need that one person, the pusher, the one that's just going to keep pushing, pushing, pushing. I'll tell you what, the pusher may piss you off too, because there may be times when you're tired and you don't want to be pushed. It's okay. You're allowed to rest, but don't get rid of that person. Let them push you to be better. All right. You need the dreamers. You need the ones that help you imagine what if. In your head, you may be thinking, yeah, what if I fail? That person is thinking, honey, what if you fly? What if you fly? They're the ones that push you outside your box. They're the ones that hold you up through it all. They're the ones that make you excited to get out of bed and go do the next thing. They want you to have all those feelings of greatness. They want to share that with you, and they want to see you achieve your dreams. They're the dreamer. Have a dreamer. You may very well be a dreamer. That's awesome. Have somebody else to share that with. All right. You need the thinker. I am a complete dreamer for other people. I am a thinker. I'm an overanalyzer. I like things to have meaning. I want to know how they're going to work out. And I'm not saying oh, I know this is going to work. I do write affirmations. I do have visions of what that's going to look like, but I want to know, does this make sense in my head? Because remember, in our affirmations, if you don't believe them, then you're wasting your time. So you have to have something that's going to push you and make you believe that these things can happen. So you need a thinker. You need somebody to help you map it out. They're a great person if you're not a numbers person and your goals are related around numbers or analytical thinking or breaking things down. Get a thinker. Have them help you break things down. Find the person that, if you want to do a podcast or a cooking show or write a cookbook or whatever that is, find somebody who's done it that can help you break down the steps. Find a thinker. All righty. The achievers. Okay, these people don't slow down. They don't accept failure. They accept no excuses whatsoever, period. Failure happens. They bounce back. They don't give it a second thought. They keep going. They just go. You may know somebody like this personally. You may not. Any of these people can be filled by a podcast or an author or somebody that you can pour into you, that you can listen to daily. For me, my achiever is my son. He has no clue that stuff shouldn't happen. No clue whatsoever. So I'm just going to give you the example. Some of you may have heard this. He is the GM of a family-owned restaurant in Dallas, his wife's family. And so actually part of him. 2 weeks after their wedding, no, not 2 weeks after, just after their wedding, the chef quit. I guess it was nice of him to wait until after the wedding. Their chef quit. And Spencer had a friend who casually mentioned to him 3 months before, yeah, I think being a chef would be great. I would love to do that. I would love to cook. I'd love to see what I can do. Chef quits. Spencer gets on the phone with his friend and says, hey, dude, my chef quit. You want to come out here and be the chef? Okay. His friend says, let me think about it. 12 hours later, calls him and says, yes. This was on a Thursday when the friend called and said, yes, I'll do it. On Sunday, the friend flew from LA to Dallas, started being the chef on Monday. No help, nobody around. They just did it. I should say the sous chefs were still there. So they did know some things. Never once did it occur to either of those two people, my son and the chef, but that's not how life works. This is a medium-end restaurant, but it has a good reputation that they cook high-end food. Never once did it occur to them that this wasn't supposed to happen. So I kept my mouth shut because part of me was like, dude, you can't do that. Like, he has no experience. What are you doing? I kept my mouth shut because it has totally worked. Totally worked. His friend went and worked the Super Bowl. He's a production assistant for a company. The chef went and worked in the Super Bowl. Spencer ran the whole kitchen, cooked it all himself. That's not supposed to happen either. So just know that there are people around there that do not ever think that stuff isn't supposed to work. They just say it's going to work. And if it doesn't work, they just bounce back and find another way. Find those people. Be around those people because they will inspire you to do more. All right, the anchor. Now, this is not what you think. It's not the anchor that's going to sink you. It's not the person that holds you down. It's actually the person that keeps you the most grounded. The person that calls you out on your bullshit. The person who just grounds you. I don't know how else to explain it. They make you stop and think. So for me, it's my daughter. She's extremely logical, but she also sees things very differently than I do. And so I made a comment. Body positivity is something that I work on daily. It's a huge crux for me. And so she called me out on it, was talking about it, and she anchors me and says, what if you stop thinking XYZ and start thinking about this? What if you stop comparing and start doing this? Very much, right? The things that we need to hear. And you guys, oftentimes it's great to hear it from a kid or somebody that's close to you that's like, no, you're not going to play this game. So they don't hold you back. They ground you. They put you in a place where you feel safe and grounded and you can grow from there. The driver, you need somebody who's results oriented. They walk the talk. They do it every single day. I have drivers from previous companies that I've been in because I've watched them and it's every single day. And I think, wow, how do they do that? What do they do? So I listen to them, even though I'm not even in the same business anymore, not even doing close to the same thing. It doesn't matter. It's not the business. It's the mentality and the mindset and the things that they do. So you want to find a driver. All right. The motivator, the voice of inspiration. They're vulnerable. They tell you stories. They motivate you. That you need to have. A lot of times it may be a book that you listen to or a podcast, somebody that you can tap into that just has that motivating factor. Motivation can be fleeting, right? So we need to continually pour into ourselves, sometimes daily, if that's what you need. So keep that in mind. The supporter, the tried and true friend, that person you can tell anything to. They have your back. They only want the best, what's best for you. You know, for me, that's my husband and my best friend, right? They support me 110%. It doesn't matter what it is either. They just want you to be happy. They want to support you in whatever you do. So make sure that you have a supporter. All right. This is my least favorite one. I laugh. This is where also my husband fits in. The devil's advocate, the critical thinker. They see all sides. They analyze it to death. You need somebody like that, right? I am not an uber critical thinker. I think in generalities. I don't have a desire to critically think through a lot of this stuff. It makes my brain hurt, so I don't. But my husband does. My husband overanalyzes everything. And not for himself per se, but like if we're watching a TV show and there's a theme that comes up, he analyzes the crap out of that and plays the devil's advocate. It actually drives me nuts. But you need a devil's advocate in there to help you catch things. Like if something's not working exactly how you want it to, a devil's advocate can help you find that. Or if you say, hey, I'm going to do XYZ, or I want to pursue this business or whatever, they're going to be the ones that kind of help you find the pitfalls before you hit them. I think it's a great thing to have and a great person to be around. So be thinking about that. All right. Did you get your list? Let's go through a quick review. You need the believer, the pusher, the dreamer, the thinker, the achiever, the anchor, the driver, champion, the motivator, the supporter, and the devil's advocate. Those are the 10 people that you need to round out your circle. You may not have them all right now. That's okay. List the ones that you do. Some people are going to fall into multiple categories, and that's awesome. You just want to make sure you can get rounded out in that, so you have all those things at some point in time. Like I said, it can be a podcast. It can be an author. It can be not so much music. You do want to pay attention to the music you listen to, but find ways to fill those holes. So your homework for today is to jot down all those categories and jot down people in them, identify the holes that you have, and then start searching for things like, and you can ask in this group, does anybody have a podcast? Like, I need a motivator. Is there a podcast I can listen to? Is there somebody, an author that you like? Ask the questions and get those holes filled. All right, tomorrow, we're going to wrap up with some more about confidence. We're going to talk about your ego. We're going to talk about your true self. We're going to talk about how to switch up some verbiage that you say that'll help make you more confident. I'm going to tell you that as you're gearing up to make changes, the type of things that can happen, so that you're ready for them, so that you can expect them. And we'll wrap up there. Tomorrow at 2, like I said, I'm doing the Boundaries Masterclass. You do have to register via Zoom because it will be on Zoom, not here. So I will get that to you as well. And I believe that is it for today. So thanks for joining me early. We are going to sign off, but tomorrow I'll be back at 3 and I'll do the masterclass at 2 via Zoom. So we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.